Welcome back to the channel. I am the Maize Madman. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so you're aware every time I upload a video. In today's video, we'll be discussing the resignation of Shimmy Beckler just a mere 72 hours after accepting the job. We'll also discuss Michigan making the top schools list of a trio out of good counsel in only Maryland, plus Gatlin Bair and Jay Harbaugh's pursuit of Gatlin Bair, and how one prospect is going to be making 2 official visits to Michigan, unofficially but official. All that, and of course, I'm upset. Supporting Jim Crow and slavery is disrespect. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. Let's get into it, man. I'ma tell them why I'm mad. Slimy Shimmy Beckler, the son of legendary head football coach Beau Beckler of the University of Michigan, is a slime and scum bucket. This guy, apparently, who just accepted the job as the assistant director of recruiting at the University of Michigan because he is good friends with Jim Harbaugh, because his father is a legend in Ann Arbor, just got a new job, right? After spending 15 years in the NFL doing a similar job, right? He was the scouting director for a myriad of NFL teams, all of that. He worked as a scout for NFL teams, all of that. And then you get a job with the university that your father kind of, I'm not going to say put on the map. He definitely didn't put them on the map, but clearly Beau Beckler is a legend at Michigan. There is no question about it. The Beckler Hall, you know, and so on and so forth. Your namesake is on a hall at the University of Michigan, right? It's ridiculous that you are out here liking tweets. By the way, and take it how you want to, on the backs of African American players, right? And I'm not saying that African American players are the only ones that have been successful at the University of Michigan. That would be a ridiculous statement. I'm not even saying that African American players are the reason that Michigan has been the brand that it is. That would be ridiculous. However, African Americans have contributed mightily to what the University of Michigan is today, both scholastically and athletically. Make no mistake about it. But I'm not here for that. This isn't the channel to get all political. However, I will address racism when racism needs to be addressed. And this is a clear situation of that. Beau Beckler had, of course, players have come out later saying that Beau Beckler kind of slid under the rug some essay allegations and things like that. I'm not here to judge that. I don't know. I didn't do enough research on it. However, his son is a slimy, shimmy scumbag of a human being. And I say that because, of course, by now you guys know he has resigned from his position he held for less than 72 hours, right? After it was discovered that he has liked and tweeted things like his pro Jim Crow stance and his pro-slavery stance when it comes to black people in the black community, and that those things, Jim Crow and slavery, were somehow a positive thing for blacks in America or black people. It's ridiculous. I think we all know that. Anyway, Michigan head football coach Jim Harbaugh and the athletic director Ward Manuel released a joint statement saying, effective this afternoon, Shimmy Beckler has resigned his position with Michigan football. We are aware of some comments and likes on social media that have caused concern and pain for individuals in our community. Michigan Athletics is fully committed to a place where our coaches, staff, student athletes feel welcome and where we fully support the university's and athletic department's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's something they had to do. You want to get as far away from associating with slimy shimmy as possible. I cannot blame them for that. And it's unfortunate that we Michigan fans and at the University of Michigan even had to deal with such I'm gonna reserve that, but slimy shimmy, don't let the door hit you where you know the rest. Let's move on. The absolute GOAT of recruiting, at least according to Burley High School head coach Cameron Anderson, calling Jay Harbaugh the absolute GOAT in recruiting, was in town. He was in Burley, Idaho, to check in on senior wide receiver Gatlin Bair. Of course, Gatlin Bair, like the fastest human being on planet Earth, Gatlin Bair. Yes, that one. He was in town to check on Gatlin Bair, who has officially set an official visit date of June 23rd, which is excellent news for Michigan. That date falls on the final weekend of the summer official visit slate, which is again excellent news. Right now, he would be the second wide receiver if he were to commit right now in the 2024 class. Of course, Michigan picked up a commitment from four-star Channing Goodwin out of Providence Day School, and they are considered the favorites for Amarian Walker out of Chicago Kenwood Academy. He is another four-star receiver, great route runner. And, of course, Ryan Wingo, wide receiver out of St. Louis, the five-star wide receiver, will also be visiting officially Michigan on June 9th. So Michigan still in good standing with a bunch of their wide receiver targets. That includes the guy we're going to talk about next as part of a trio of recruits who have Michigan in their top schools list out of good counsel in Olney, Maryland. But let's keep it on Gatlin Bair right now. Gatlin Bair would immediately be the fastest person in the Big Ten. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If he commits today, he's the fastest person in the Big Ten. Argue with somebody who doesn't know any better. Gatlin Bair would make Michigan and anybody that's playing quarterback for Michigan a very, very happy man. He is going to be able to take the top off of any defense, zone them up, play cover 4. You better get your running shoes on because Gatlin Bair is that fast. He just broke the Idaho state record with the time of 10.15. That is ridiculous. That time of 10.15 matches the fastest time ran by anybody in the country this year. Gatlin Bair is at least a share of the fastest person in high school in 2023. You might want to pay attention to what's going on with Gatlin Bair. That's all I'm saying. That being said, Michigan still has their work to do, right? Gatlin Bair is still going to go on that LDS mission from my understanding. So even if he does commit, his services won't be available to Michigan year one at least. It's a 2-year LDS mission that starts in December because he's going to be an early graduate. But I don't care. Whenever he gets there, especially if Michigan does what Michigan should do and land Bryce Underwood, when Gatlin Bair gets back, it's going to be fireworks. Do you hear me? Fireworks. Let me know in the comment section what you think about Gatlin Bair, about Michigan's chances of landing Gatlin Bair. From where I sit, Michigan is in the catbird seat. They are in pole position. They are the leader. Whatever analogy you need me to make, that's where they sit, number one, on top, whatever it is. That's where Michigan sits right now with Gatlin Bair. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and if you think he'd be a positive addition to Michigan's 2024 class, let me know. Before we move on, I got to remind everyone, hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe. Subscribe. We are nearly to 300 subscribers. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to this point. And if you haven't subscribed, then go ahead and hit subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny, I promise. Moving right along. The Wolverines will host Jacob Smith officially June 2nd. Jacob, obviously the brother of Wolverines commit 4-star defensive lineman Jarrett Smith. You may remember I had the Smith parents on a live right here on the channel, Maize Madman, and they spoke about how Jarrett was recruiting his brother Jacob to go to Michigan, how they both wanted to go to the same school at one point just to kind of help with logistics. I think it makes sense for Jacob to go to Michigan, of course. In fact, Jacob spoke a little bit about Michigan and what's, good about Michigan for him. He said, it's Michigan. I've seen them develop people at my position. I've seen them get to the next level. I've seen what they can do, and they are called Edge Rush U, and that's what I do. If I was a middle linebacker, I'd probably go to Penn State. Now, Jacob, don't do that. We need middle linebackers too. Jeremiah Beasley, if you were listening, don't listen. Aaron Childs, if you were listening, do not listen to Jacob when it comes to this thing specifically, and that's the middle linebacking, because we have middle linebackers as well. All right, we do good there too. Anyway, Jacob, 4-star edge rusher, will also be making the trip to Ann Arbor for his brother Jarrett's official visit. So it's like Jacob's getting 2 official visits. 2 official visits to A2, and it can't hurt. I do expect Michigan to land Jacob to pair with his brother Jarrett in the 2024 class. Keep it locked to the Maize Madman for all the latest on that. Moving on, speaking of pairing, how about a triple pairing? I don't know, what is that? Coupling, tripling? It couldn't be a couple because that's 2. Anyway, there are 3 players out of Olney, Maryland, out of Good Counsel High School in Olney, Maryland, Our Lady Good Counsel in Olney, Maryland, that have placed Michigan in their top schools. Of course, we've spoken about Aaron Childs on this channel to nauseum. Michigan has made the top 3 for him. Included in that top 3 were Maryland and I want to say Florida, right? Maryland and Florida to go with Michigan. It doesn't really matter who the third team is because Michigan is where he's going. Go ahead, book it. If you have a betting app, bet on that. Put it all on that. Anyway, 2 of his teammates though, Darian Mayo, the edge rusher out of Olney, Maryland, of course, and then wide receiver, 4-star wide receiver Elijah Moore, both have Michigan in their top schools list as well. Michigan makes the top 6 for Mayo and makes the top 5 for Moore. Moore, though, is a receiver we haven't spoken a lot about here on the channel. He is a legit 6'4". According to EJ Holland of On3, he is a beast. You can see some of his film here. He looks absolutely beastly, and being 6'4", being that's the kind of receiver that Michigan wants to go after in this recruiting class. I know Amarian Stewart is a smaller receiver, but he's an excellent route runner, and I do want Michigan to land him as well. Gatlin Bair is a kind of a bigger receiver, but we already know what Michigan is recruiting him for, and that's the speed, because sheesh. But Elijah Moore kind of represents all of that. He has good footwork. He's pretty fluid in and out of the routes, and he is the ideal size that Michigan is coveting. So Elijah Moore placing Michigan in his top 5. Right now, if I had to guess, I would say that Florida State may be in the lead for him right now. But along with Florida State, the other state is always a threat for a receiver, and he also has them in his top 5. So right now it's Michigan, Florida State, the other state, unfortunately, Florida and Maryland in the top 5 for Elijah rushing, and for Darian Mayo, it's Michigan, USC, the other state, again, unfortunately, Maryland, Clemson, and I believe Florida State. So for Mayo, I think the biggest threat to Michigan is also the other state. Right now, if I had to guess, I'd say it's between Michigan and the other state, but I'm not ruling out USC, as he did express how good of a time he had on his visit to USC. The good news, though, is that Michigan potentially gets the last visit. He will be visiting Michigan on the 23rd of June, which is the last weekend of the official visit slate before the July dead period. So hopefully Michigan can lock that in during that time. We have reached that time in the video where I do need to bid you adieu. Before I do, though, we spoke a lot about wide receivers on this video, so I'm going to give you my favorite Michigan wide receiver of all time. You guys do the same in the comment section. With no further ado, no further wait, my favorite Michigan wide receiver of all time is Braylon Edwards. Braylon Edwards had the size. He would go up and make contested catches. He dominated no matter who the competition was. So Braylon Edwards, for me, gets the nod. He represented that number one very well. Shout out to Braylon Edwards. Let me know in the comment section who your favorite receiver of all time that wore the maize in blue. And before I get out of here, let's do these Triple M shout outs today. Triple M shout out number one goes to Clint Bryant. Shout out to you, sir. Thank you for your support. You are officially a madman. Secondly, P. Maximus, shout out to you. Thank you for the support. You're officially a madman. And last but certainly not least, forever yours, Yah. You are officially a madman. Be sure to follow me at Maize Madman everywhere. This upcoming Tuesday, I will be live Tuesday with Ryan, and we will be having Ryan Roberts from IB Nation, and that is Notre Dame's a fan channel of Notre Dame. Make sure you check that out. We'll be live 8 p.m., so you don't want to miss it. Until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'ma calm down, son. I just don't get that all that mace and that lock and all that. I just don't get it, son, for real.
Just calm
and how the